Hey everybody, this is Don Zoldi. Welcome back to your Donna Drones podcast. We are week 2 of this month dedicated to the future of flight, sponsored by Titan Aviation. We had Tony Drummond on the show last week, live from Las Vegas, and this week when you think about the future of flight, you think about what are the next generation aircraft that we're talking about, and this company FIXAR and Yulia Druzhnikova, who's with us here today, is going to tell us all about that. And Yulia is coming to us live from Riga, Latvia. And so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, Don. Really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You guys are doing so much globally. I know you have a headquarters in Riga. I know you also have a home base in Canada. So much going on. I can't wait to dig deep into that. Before we get to that, let's find out a little bit about you. Just give us that 30-second elevator speech, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct everybody to watch Yulia's Full Tilt Leadership podcast. If you want to know all about her background, she was on our tilt earlier this year. It was such a great show. Go check that link. But in the meantime, tell us a little bit about yourself now.
Yeah, actually, that was a nice conversation that you mentioned, so I loved it a lot. So yeah, a little bit about myself. So I've been in tech industry for a while, for over a decade. And I've been always involved in the deep technologies, but on the side, on the venture capital business. So from venture capital business, I moved to one of our portfolio companies. So how it happened, we invested when I worked for the venture capital fund. We invested in FIXAR. So that's how I met founder and our CTO now and CEO Vasily. So, and that's how it all started, my journey with FIXAR. So I just moved to the other side of the counter and still having fun.
That's awesome. And by the way, everybody, of course, we are live. So this is your opportunity to connect with Yulia here, ask her questions, give her positive encouragement. We love all of that. Tell us a little bit about what FIXAR does.
Well, basically, as you mentioned, we are a Latvian-based company. We're in the heart of Latvia in Riga, and we develop autonomous drones. The key features of our drones and why we're different from the others is that we have full stack technologies. So we're autonomous. We do take care of all the components and elements we have, including software and patented aerodynamic design. That's why they look a little bit different compared to others. And yeah, so that's our key assets, our proprietary technologies, scalable model. That's how we scale every new model to cover longer distances and carry a heavier payload.
Well, tell us a little bit about the beginning. You know, what's the origin story for FIXAR? I mean, you are creating, we're going to obviously, everybody stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about these incredible drones and showing them to you because they're super eye-catching. They're very unique. But you know, what kind of inspired the design? What inspired the company?
Right. So the story behind actually is quite interesting. So our founder and author of all our technologies, he used to work for the other drone company, and that's the classical story when your hobby becomes your profession. So since his childhood, he was engaged with these workshops, in aero modeling workshops, participate in a different type of competition. So that's why he's a European champion in the different disciplines like combat games, drone racing games, etc., etc. So he already had quite a bit of experience in the aerodynamics, what goes well, what works better for the different use cases. So he got an idea that actually it's all great that we have a lot of the different recreational type of drones. That was probably, I don't know, 7 years ago. And he was thinking about, but what if we bring the reliable technology to serve the industrial market, to fly longer, to carry more sophisticated sensors, to collect really precise data? And he was thinking about what are the obstacles, what are the limitations of the current technologies, of the current design we have.
Right.
And he got an idea, okay, what if we bring all the best features of both worlds without their downsides, meaning the copters and planes, because they're two more famous models, I would say. And the idea was, okay, let's bring the best features of all these models, but without their downside, and see how it goes. So, and then he started actually working on the autopilot and mission planner. Why? Because the open source protocols, open source platforms are great in many ways. They're quite flexible, etc. At the same time, we know that they have they have a lot of different like pitfalls, right? And we didn't want it to be trapped in this. And so that was the reason why we started developing our proprietary software. So when we brought all this together, the design and the software at this intersection, the miracle started happening, and we saw that, hey, now it works much better. Now this can be applied for the industrial and commercial applications. That's the use cases we started with.
Well, let's just go right to the drone because we're talking about it and a picture paints 1,000 words. We're talking about your keystone product here right now, the FIXAR 007. Describe it, what we're seeing in this video.
Yeah. So by the way, that's where it's flying now is our test bed in Montenegro. Why Montenegro? First of all, it's a nice country, beautiful weather, and secondly, it has the mountain terrain. What is most important, because we wanted to challenge our platforms. We wanted to make sure that it would be really reliable and safe for the different type of situations, whether it's geomagnetic anomalies, when you fly closely to the, let's say, power lines, and mountains also create some geomagnetic anomalies, high altitude, different terrain. We wanted to track it, we wanted to follow it, and use all our features of detecting the void and obstacle avoidance. That's now in demand by the industry, so we always try to keep the client in mind. So yeah, I love that video, by the way.
Well, and I'm here in Colorado, and all of those attributes you just mentioned are definitely challenges for a lot of companies when they bring their drone here. And I know you guys had a successful demo last year here at AUVSI Exponential. But I want to
Exactly.
take what you said and explode it out a little bit and expand on those attributes of the 007 that you kind of let's just call it specifically designed into it for all of these purposes. I believe we've got some images and maybe you can walk us through. So first of all, I love, just as totally, I just love the look of this drone. When I walked
Yeah.
through the floor, I think it was commercial UAV last year, maybe,
Hmm.
or even before that, 2 years ago. I don't remember. When I first saw this drone, I went up to you and I was like, "Tell me about this thing." So it's such a unique design. It's red. I don't think anybody else is doing red, which I love because you can see it. Tell.
True. Right. So what you see now is exactly our flagship model, FIXAR 007. I love this comparison with a Secret Agent 007, but it's
Yeah.
not. So why 007? Because its maximum takeoff weight is 7 kilos, so that's very easy.
Ah.
Uh, this small bird, actually, it's relatively small, the wingspan, and you see it fits very well to just one case.
I mean, just that,
Uh,
and it's pretty. I've seen this thing in person. I mean, it's not small.
well, it's
But
not
it's
small,
yeah, I mean,
true.
relatively speaking, it's like most people are flying these little DJI things, right? Like this is a fixed wing, and you can fit it into that little case, which is amazing.
Exactly. So, and also you see now on the picture all the components that come together. So everything, like all the components together with the software, batteries, etc. So from this case, you will spend less than 1 minute to set it up and send it for the mission. So literally zero time, without any catapults spending between, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, without any runways to take it off, without any parachuting systems or capture devices to land it. So it's totally autonomous. It's really light. So you remember, I guess, when you took
I
the
do. I
wing
picked it
off,
up. Yeah,
it's like nothing.
it
So
is.
that's why the technologies we use, they are the composite technologies, carbon fiber, fiberglass, etc. So they contribute to the minimum weight of the drone itself, so that we can work with the very sophisticated sensors up to 2 kilos. That's 4.4 pounds. And the wingspan, actually, you're right, it's bigger than the average copter, I would say,
Yeah.
of the same maximum takeoff weight. But again, the wingspan is really compact. Just in feet, it would be 5.3 feet. So it's really compact. So it's the case goes into any car, so you can easily travel with it because the weight is up to 23 kilos just to travel between the cities and countries. What is also very important about speaking about FIXAR is that the ratio between, and you have extensive background in aviation, so this ratio between maximum payload capacity and maximum takeoff weight means a lot for the commercialization of the product. So, what we pay attention at is, okay, does it make sense to transport this, let's say, cargo, if we're talking about the delivery, with this size of a drone? So if the drone, let's say, weight of 30 kilos and you wanted to transport just 1 kilo, so maybe that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, and this ratio should be, based on the big aviation practice, should be close to 0.3, what is considered to be acceptable. So we are zero point 0.3, and we are really proud of this achievement because that shows the like sustainability of the product, in that it's a very good fit for the commercial defense and security market, whether it's delivery or like blood samples, vaccines, medications, or working with the different sensors with really good optics. So it flies up to 1 hour, what I wanted to add. And a few killing features I should mention, because it's really something. First of all, it's absolutely geomagnetic, anomalous, agnostic. So this bird flies in any type of environment, including mountains, let's say up to 6,000 meters. That's 20,000 feet above sea level, where even helicopters do not fly. What is important, because if someone is stuck over there, I don't know, something's happening, border control, again, search and rescue, disaster relief efforts, etc., etc. It's important to have a solution that you can take it off very quickly and be confident that it will collect the data or transmit to the video stream, so you can realize what's going on there and send some aid into this location. What else? Altitude I mentioned, geomagnetic anomalies I mentioned. On top of that, it has quite wide range, temperature range. It's between minus, okay, in Fahrenheit, it would be minus 25, minus 22 Fahrenheit, up to 140 Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
Uh,
So
so,
extreme weather,
pretty much.
lots of different environmental conditions. And you've already alluded to some of these use cases. You know, when you see a fixed wing VTOL like this, most people, I
Mm-hmm,
think, in their brains go right to, oh, look, that's a mapping drone, which makes
mm-hmm.
sense, right? With the right sensor. But you've employed this, and your clients and partners have employed the 007 in a wide range of use cases, as you said, including last mile delivery. Tell us a little bit about that, because that seems to be a real hot topic right now.
Right. I do hope that we will have some exciting news very soon. Just can't announce it now, but
No, you
hopefully. It will be, yes, so we'll keep you in the loop for sure. But a couple of things I wanted to mention about the delivery use cases, what we are really proud of. First of all, that's the use case in Botswana. So they deliver blood samples from hospital to laboratory because it's just cheaper and faster, and that's
Yeah,
it. Another
absolutely.
one, our clients and partners in India, what they aim to do is to deliver the critical supplies from, let's say, one village on one slope of the mountain to another one. So they look that they're very close to each other if you look at the Google Maps, but actually when it comes to mountains, it's never close,
No.
right? So you will spend, right? So it's definitely safer, faster, cheaper to send a drone with some samples of, I don't know, something, vaccines, COVID tests, anything like that, to that village, let's say. So, and they have a lot of plans for this. So that's what we're working on now. But Botswana, we're really proud of this. What else about delivery? So we are working currently on a few more delivery cases, and they are in industrial applications and the oil and gas as well, and mining. That's about the oil samples from offshore platforms to the laboratory on the land to realize so that like good enough sample to continue working or so that's all the drones basically do is just they collect the data or they deliver something from one place to another and that's it.
Yeah.
So but what is important from the client perspective is that having the accurate data, they can make the data-driven decisions,
Yeah.
and that's what matters, and timely decisions as well. So that's what we are focusing on.
Well, you just mentioned oil and gas and like this offshore delivery use case, and I don't know who's listening out there, but they may not fully appreciate that flying over water, especially like oceans, for something like that, it has its own weather pattern. I've learned so much about
Yeah.
weather from hanging out with Don Bershoff, the weather Don, right from True Weather Solutions.
Hmm.
I didn't fully appreciate that, how difficult that use case is just because of the weird, almost independent weather patterns that happen over water. And,
Hmm.
you're doing that. So that's amazing. I want to talk not just about the hardware because that's obviously very key, but you created your own proprietary autopilot software, which is a little bit unique also. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the software is the brain and heart of our product. The example, what Vasil and I like very much is the computer. So computer means nothing without the software. So the
Yep.
software is the really key products we have. So Autopilot, again, that's the proprietary autopilot. It has a lot of the different features that the other autopilots simply do not have because most of the platforms that are out there in the markets, they work on the open source protocols. We are a little bit different. Of course, it's more challenging to develop your own autopilot, maintain it, upgrade it constantly, be in touch with the clients. But at the same time, it gives us a lot of flexibility. Why? Because, for instance, if we wanted to enter, I don't know, South Korean market or Japanese market, Australian, they definitely have their own like local regulatory restrictions and requirements. So having our proprietary system in place, we can easily adapt it for the local regulation. One of the regulator in one of the countries, so our client applied for the BVLOS mission, and the regulator in that country, they reached out to us and said, hey, your level of autonomy is here, our level of autonomy is somewhere here, so we need to close this gap just to let you fly the BVLOS mission in our country. We said, okay, no worries. Less than 2 months of work, done. So you're good to go. So that's how we can mitigate those risks in terms of commercialization and at the same time to serve our clients appropriately whenever they do missions. So that's really helpful to have the own autopilot, and also it allows us together with the ground control software to do any type of integrations, whether it's fleet management system, whether it's new sensors integration. Um, the sensors can be autonomous, they can be semi-autonomous, but that's the proprietary nature of the software makes it this process like straightforward process, and we are really proud of this achievement. So, and yeah, so autopilot basically, in our case, it's totally responsible for being autonomous. So we do not have any sticks, any manual control. It's just totally autonomous. So that's why all our trainings, during our trainings, we do not teach our clients, our pilots, how to operate the drone. It flies by itself. It's autonomous. Just build the mission. So what we train is how to build the most efficient mission and take maximum from our platform.
You raise a really interesting issue there, Yulia, because I just actually moderated a panel relating to the future of flight. It was, advanced air mobility, which frankly, some of these use cases we're talking about with the 007 qualify as advanced air mobility. We're not talking air taxis right now, but we're talking complex operations, autonomous operations. This idea that the training the pilot needs is very different than the stick and rudder kind of training that maybe people might be used to, including it with traditional commercial drones. Different things you have to pay attention to, the digital kind of space management and things like this. But I want to back up for a second because we were talking about your autopilot. You just kind of mentioned this, and I want to highlight it because you also have this X ground control software. You have this thing called the black box,
Right.
which is very important. And so tell us a little bit about those two things and how they integrate with the autopilot to enable this fully autonomous operation.
Right. So yeah, Autopilot, as I said, that's the embedded software, so nobody actually sees
Yeah,
where it is and
sure.
how it goes. But the interface, the user interface, is exactly the ground control software. So that's the software where the clients build the missions, and they can do the different, use the different features of the ground control software. They can create, edit autonomous flights. They what else? So they benefit from the 3D map that the ground control have, because that's important for if you're a pilot. And
Yes.
then the black box that you mentioned, actually, that's extremely important feature. What it does, it simply collects the logs of the mission. So whatever happens, you can get access as the pilot. So you can get access to the logs. You can make investigation together with us is if you have some concerns and if you wanted to check if the drone performed the way it should perform, or if something happens, how we can analyze and really find the problem, what really happened. Is it on the side of the software, or I don't know, design on the or the pilot's action? So we do this very detailed investigation based on the data that is collected on the black box. So it's extremely important to have this access, and what is also crucial is that nobody else can get access to your logs. So that's again the features of the proprietary software. So your logs, your flight, your mission, nobody can get access to this.
Well, and not just if there's a problem, just for normal state of affairs to
Exactly.
ensure pilot proficiency,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you have a safe operation for record keeping. All of these things are very important. And so we've been talking a lot about the different features of the 007 hardware software side, some of the use cases, but I also, before we move into some of the new things you've got going on, I wanted to talk about some of the government use cases. You alluded to Border Patrol, and some of these things. So, what are you seeing on the government side that different governments globally are starting to adopt the 007 in their operations?
Right. So first of all, I would mention the ISR missions. They are in really in demand, and due to the different events we face nowadays, over the last year we received tons of requests from the different governments in Europe, in Latin America, from the US and in Canada, about the performance characteristics of our models and how we can contribute to the ISR missions. They definitely have higher level of requirements to the safety features, to the level of autonomy they wanted to use. and also to the data encryption, so we can list all the specific
Well,
requirements.
yeah, you got that because we just actually had a very special Ukraine edition on Monday of our
That's
full
on my list.
crew.
Yeah, I saw it.
And you know that if anything jumped out, it was electronic warfare, jamming, spoofing. You know, these things
Jamming,
dropping out of the
spoofing.
sky because they're constantly being attacked, and have that level of encryption and be able to proprietarily work with governments to say, you know, we can keep flying, like we can do this persistently and autonomously. That can make such a that would be a game changer.
Exactly, and that's our message. So FIXAR with all this, like even 007, our smaller one that
Yep.
flies up to 1 hour, only 60 kilometers distance. But again, it flies even in GPS denial environment. In total autonomous mode, it cannot be affected by anti-jamming and anti-spoofing systems. So we are working on this, worked a lot to make this happen. So we know exactly what the government authorities need for the different type of use cases and scenarios. Definitely, to work with the government requires from us more contribution, not only so because they do not need, as you know, they do not need a product, they need a complete solution. It
Yep.
can require the integration with their ecosystem or infrastructure, let's say
Yep.
border control, which software they already use, do they have any data storage in place, what are the data storage, etc. So it raises multiple questions. So from starting this conversation with some government authorities till the launch of the project, we spend a lot of time on questions and investigation and demonstrations and different scenarios how it can work better for their specific needs. Because even ISAR missions, let's say border control,
Yep.
it's different from South Africa to Australia, Japan, and the United States. So everyone has some specific requirements, or Israel. So we do pay attention. We learn from our customers because, again, ISR means involvement of defense and security structures. And we learn from them. We try to do our best. The benefits we get from them already is that credits for having the proprietary software. That's what makes them more comfortable to work with us. So that's the avenue we are exploring now and already serve a couple of government authorities from the different countries. The border control, what else? Coast Guard, very close mission. And ISR, it includes not only surveillance, but also mapping, depending on the use case. So FIXAR 007 flies with one sensor, so you can choose. You want a LiDAR, you want an RGB camera, a video camera, you name it. But if we speak about FIXAR 025, it can utilize the capability to mount a few sensors simultaneously just to fit the 20 pounds payload. So what is huge, so you can use LiDAR and RGB sensor at the same time.
So I'm smiling because you jumped to the next drone, and this is the newest big thing on the horizon right now, the FIXAR 025, big reveal. Tell us more. We've got a video to roll, and you can talk us through
Oh
it.
yeah, I love it. So it's amazing actually. When we show FIXAR 025, yeah, I guess we should
You know
put
what?
it on.
I just realized, Yulia, I'm sorry, the video has some audio, so we're going to roll that video and we're going to be quiet. Go.
Meet the latest member of the FIXAR family, the FIXAR 025. FIXAR 025 is an autonomous, fully electric drone designed to handle large-scale and long-range missions for commercial applications as well as delivery missions. The unique full-body lift design ensures the most efficient energy consumption and endurance. FIXAR 025 is equipped with several safety features that provide stress-free and fully autonomous flights at every stage of the mission. Due to an increased flight time and range, FIXAR 025 can deliver more results in fewer flights. This unlocks the possibility of serving different industries long waiting to give wings to their operations. These include first response for search and rescue and medical aid delivery missions, surveillance and monitoring, as well as long-range asset inspections, and also large-scale mapping and surveying tasks. With FIXAR 025, the possibilities are endless. To learn more about FIXAR 025 solution, visit our website, fixar.pro. Safe flights.
All right, that is just too cool. First of all, that design, with the triangular, what do you even call that surrounds it? Is that?
I just wanted to show you, I have the smaller version right here. I'm trying to bring
Okay.
it up.
Oh
So
my
there you
gosh.
go.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's
Show and
the
tell.
really, really baby FIXAR 25, just the model, some prototypes. We're playing around with this. And
Yeah.
it's actually very cool what you mentioned about the triangle. So, and it's not that obvious that using the completely different design, the FIXAR 007 and FIXAR 25, they both models use the same principles of FIXAR, meaning the fixed angle rotors. That's what we have behind the model. So that's why.
Wait, that's what FIXAR means?
Exactly.
I didn't
That's
even
the
know.
abbreviation.
Say it again. What does it mean? Fixed
Fixed
and
angle rotors, meaning that we do not have any moving components, any rotating mechanisms. And less rotating mechanisms, think about Osprey,
yeah.
right? This recently absolutely like disaster crash landing in Australia, I
Yeah.
guess, right? And a few people died. It's
Yeah.
really, really sad. So, but again, less rotating mechanisms you have, more stable and sustainable system you have, less risks of malfunction. So that was the idea behind this. And if you look at FIXAR, both 007 or 25, they do not have any rotate mechanisms. So that's why it's fixed angle rotors, and it's just propellers that move. So, and that's it. Having the simplicity in place, we try to eliminate the risks of malfunctions, and secondly, to bring extra efficiency to the mission itself. So with FIXAR 007, we liked everything. The design is great, very unique, performs great, but can we add anything else to increase the efficiency of the mission? Can we fly longer? What is out there for us? What we can add? So we were brainstorming with our engineers, and Vasily did a fantastic, unbelievable job with all of our guys. They were thinking about, okay, the wing always creates the lift force for the aircraft. But what if the whole body of the drone is the wing? What if the whole body creates the lift force? What if the whole body is the wing? And that was behind this idea of triangle. So then we started some experiments, and then we ended up with this model. It performs really great. Hope to show the full-size model flying up and running somewhere in December, and we will do a big event for our clients and partners and media to show it, because that's fantastic. This model flies up to 300 kilometers, that's 186 miles, and up to 3.5 hours, and it's all on one battery charge. So it's
almost like 3 times what we get with the 007, if you will. Yeah. Wow.
And also the capability to have a few sensors at the same time make it a market killer, because you spend much less time collecting the different data from the same location, let's say point cloud with the LiDAR, or images with the RGB cameras, or streaming some video to the operator in the real time. So that's what's really important and impressive about FIXAR 025, and it looks great. It looks as a piece of art.
It is so cool. I love how the sensor camera just kind of dropped at the bottom of the triangle there. Like to fit right in there, and then how the package delivery area is just like a little
Right.
hatch on the top, like Unbelievable. So cool.
And payload is impressive. It's 10 kilos. Again, this ratio between the between the payload capacity and maximum takeoff weight is again impressive. And 25 kilos is right the threshold for a lot of the regulators like FAA not to
Right.
go to the aviation grade certification. So it's still in the in the capacity when you can skip this additional certificates just to
Yeah.
simplify your job and simplify it for our clients as well. At the same time, do BVLOS missions with all this terrain tracking and obstacle avoidance software. So yeah.
Amazing. You guys have been so busy since the founding of FIXAR in 2018. I think about all the different milestones you've achieved along the way. I mean, what was it, like a year after founding, you've got your 007 IP, intellectual property rights. The design is going forward. 2 years later, you're introducing the 007 in 2020. What a crazy year that was with COVID. I think you and I talked about that before, in a different context. And then by 2021, you guys doubled your size. You have a new production facility. You have this Canadian presence, and by 2022, you're already developing the O25. I mean, it's just the upward trajectory of your company has been phenomenal to watch over time. And what do you attribute to the success? I mean, you obviously have been super busy, and I think you've been a big part of this company's success. You have a ton of partners, which I want to talk about here momentarily. But what do you attribute to the success of FIXAR and the 007, and now moving forward the O25?
Yeah, well, great question. Well, first of all, we talk a lot about FIXAR, about technologies and products, but at the same time, the most important asset we have is always people. People
Yes.
who chose FIXAR to work with us, to go to this roller coaster every day with us, to handle all these challenges. Because well, life is not perfect. Weather is not perfect for the tests.
Yeah.
Clients will always have some questions, challenges, etc. And I'm really grateful for everyone who chose FIXAR to work with us and to share all this ups and downs together with us. Of course, myself and Vasily, we always have a few different hats over the days. Yeah, it's hard to challenge, and at the same time, it's a lot of fun. The feedback that we get from our partners and clients, it's worth it all. So, and yeah, and I also think that why actually we can try do the trials and errors that quickly, because we are quite small team, and it's just us. I mean, if we think all together that that's the good way of travel to explore this, I don't know, design, or to fix this problem this way, why not to try doing this right now? Because there is no one to stop us from this, right? So
Yes.
it's very cool. That's what differs the startup culture from the big corporations, when you have managers over managers over managers, and you have
Yes.
to handle a number of the different meetings to send out meeting notes, and
Or
then
get
agree
anything
everyone.
done, or get an answer to your email. Like,
Exactly,
really,
right.
let's not even go there. But besides your internal amazing team, you've gathered a whole host. You've been super busy gathering partners, and Tony Drummond and I talked about this. There really will be no lone wolf success in this industry, because you have to collaborate, you have to work with others, and you've gathered such an amazing ecosystem of partners around the globe. And I'm just going to shout out a few that I'm aware of. Yulia, obviously AUVSI is one of them, but Ag Eagle, I just saw them last week. Key AI, also from Canada, doing amazing things with artificial intelligence. Topo Drone, I love those
I love
guys.
them.
And
Yeah,
and their
exactly. Me too.
lidar and their bathymeter that they've created that attaches to the drone. They actually had your 007 in their booth at Geo Week, and that's what attracted me to go there. And I'm like, how do you work with FIXAR? And they're like, oh yeah, our thing just attaches right to it, and we can do, mapping underwater together. I'm like, what? Let's see. These are just some of the ones jumping out at me. Skylink in Japan, and so many
Yeah,
more.
they're fantastic
I'm
guys.
sure maybe there's a couple you want to throw out, but like the fact that you've been able to work with these companies, integrate, their solutions into what you are doing to customize things for specific customers, whether on the commercial or military side or defense, government side, I think is really key. So congratulations. I think you
Thank you
guys
so
do.
much, Don. And you touched a very important topic. So the partnership is way more better than any competition, and the market is so huge. Then when I hear that someone is competing heavily with someone, I'm always smiling because look at this market is so young
Yes.
compared to, I don't know, to any other technologies we can touch, right? So
Right.
I believe I wanted to think about the partnership and cooperation rather than competition, and because um, again, market is huge. We always learn from our partners and competitors, and those folks who trusted us and bought our product, and they always give the feedback. That's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And so we are really, really proud and really thankful for everyone for their trust and for their competences. We have fantastic partners across the globe. In Japan, you mentioned Skylink Japan, fantastic team. They do absolutely crazy and very brave stuff with the drones. Our Australian partners, our partner, I'm not sure if you mentioned them. The partner Helisol Brazilian helicopter aviation helicopter company in Brazil. They do fantastic things, and they chose FIXAR. So thanks for their trust. Yeah, so I mean, we can name partners across the globe, and of course
Yep.
the associations that actually uh, bring and push the boundaries of all the regulatory framework, right? So gathering
Absolutely.
everyone together and trying to create the environment when everyone can speak up to move this industry forward. So it's priceless, right? So
It is, and obviously I was not United States Navy, I was Air Force, but I love the one saying they have, which is, a rising tide raises all ships. And, I think that's true when you think about partners in this particular industry. And, as a result, you've racked up a number of awards. The list is long. And so I don't know if you want to highlight any in particular, but you have awards dating back to 2021, just a couple years after the start of the company.
yeah, that was amazing. Actually, we didn't expect this. It was absolutely like opportunistic idea, I would say, just to apply and see how it goes. So it was great. And Edison Awards. Edison Awards is considered to be an Oscar in tech innovation. So that's why it's so special for us, for all the team. I guess we became the first Latvian company that got this prize. So we are really, really proud of this. But also, like speaking about awards, it's not only about FIXAR and again our products, our technology, what is cool, but it's also, and I guess we discussed it briefly with you previously. It's also about the achievements of our teammates.
Yeah, of
And
course.
about a couple of months ago, somewhere in July, in Texas, a World FAI World Space Modeling Championship took place in Texas, and Latvia became the gold winners.
I
So,
know. I put that out in my newsletter. By the way, if y'all
right,
haven't signed up for my newsletter, you should, because I put things
yeah,
like that
yeah,
in
I
there.
saw it.
You guys sponsored that Latvian team in that space kind of robotics competition. Super cool.
I mean,
I,
Latvia is so teeny tiny country, and a lot of our
yeah,
clients before reaching out to us, they never heard about Latvia. So we kind of open new horizons for
yeah.
them, and
People are
then
like,
go
wait a minute,
figure.
what are you doing over there? I mean, that is so cool. We only have like 2 minutes left. I knew the time would fly. And by the way, Mark is out there saying now he knows what FIXAR means. So do I. Always learn something on this show, Mark. Stick
Thanks,
around.
Mark.
So I appreciate you. Very, very cool. And I want to just take a minute to talk about what we can expect. I've seen obviously I follow FIXAR, I follow you, Yulia, on LinkedIn and social media. You guys are out there demoing all over Europe, all over the world. You've been super busy. What can we expect from the company, maybe through the end of the year, maybe into next year? And then I'm going to leave the floor to you for any closing comments beyond that.
Yeah, well, first of all, we are coming with the full-size FIXAR 25, what is really huge. So we will continue exploring the different use cases. We are open for the cooperation with the sensors providers. So if someone from this field is listening to us, we are open for the cooperation, integration. We would like to learn from you. This module is open for really heavy sensors up to 10 kilos. So please reach out to us, tell us about yourself. We are happy to learn. Then please expect some new use cases, most probably for the government use cases. We will not probably showcase everything, but we will share what we can. Some killing features like GPS denial environment, like obstacle avoidance, what is becoming to the proprietary detect and avoid FIXAR system, and also the special payload safety system that would be an additional part of FIXAR 25 to keep sensor in safe position. Whatever happens to the drone, the sensor will be safe, because sometimes the sensors cost way,
They
way
can
more
cost
than the
a
FIXAR
lot.
itself.
Yeah.
So we wanted to stay safe. We want our clients to be confident in sensors as well. So that's what we're working on. And probably a couple of more awards. We'll see.
I hope so. And Yulia, will you guys be at AVSI Exponential next year in San Diego?
Absolutely.
Yay!
Of
Okay,
course.
we're
So
going
we'll
to
see you
talk
there.
later because I really want you involved in my Law Tech Connect workshop. We'll talk offline, but we are at time, and so I want to respect your time, everybody out there, and thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through your incredible drones, the 007, the 025 that's up and coming, the software, the autopilot, the ground control station, the black box, all of it. It's been such a journey, and we've all learned something new today. Really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. We love watching and seeing you guys soar, and look forward to seeing even more over the coming months, and certainly over the next few years. So,
Thank you, Don.
yeah.
That was
How
a
do they reach
pleasure.
you, Julia? Real quick as we end. How do they find
So,
you? How can they reach you?
online on LinkedIn, that's the easiest way, or FIXAR, you can use sales@fixar.pro to reach out to all our team in sales marketing and myself.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks out there. We are out here.